I had to make an upfront payment of $60 before I'm even allowed to make one sale. They like to promise you this wealthy financial future, pretty much a lot of money. But what I didn't know until I did research, things started feeling scamish. The scam of life insurance. Life insurance is one of these topics that don't get talked about for obvious reasons. But for those that are new to this channel, my name is Jason. I'm just your ordinary content creator who just got invited to sell life insurance. Life insurance is simply a safety net for the people you care about if you die. So if you pass away, that company pays your family or whoever you selected that big bump of money. Simple, right? So now I'm going to explain my experience on how I even got invited to sell life insurance in the first place. Phase 2, my experience. So for those that don't know, I do work at a gym and pretty much this is how it all went down. So it's just another day at work and these group of guys, they come in and ready to play basketball. So we have this trade-in policy where you could trade in one of your items so you could receive a basketball. In this case, he trades in his BMW M4 car keys. So after he does that, pretty much he gets the basketball and then he heads towards the court. While he's heading towards the court, for some odd reason, he has like a brief moment of like a realization, turns back around and wanted to talk to me once again. He asked if I've ever done sales before. Pretty much in simple terms, I've never done sales before and he wanted me to join his life insurance team. So after that conversation, we pretty much exchanged information and then we just went about our day. A week goes by and he pretty much reaches out to me and then we hop on a cell phone call that's like interview style based. So within this phone call, we pretty much talked about how I would be the perfect candidate to work for his team and sell life insurance and pretty much the basics of this job overall. This phone call lasted pretty much an hour long and towards the end of the phone call, I started getting vibes that he started trying to close me like if I was one of his sales. And also, I thought it was pretty funny that he mentioned that he will have his assistant send me an email about the job and stuff like that. And as soon as he says this, he sends the email and me knowing that it's actually him sending it, not his quote-unquote assistant. I was also required to pay an upfront payment of $60 to take this test to obtain this life insurance license. So if you guys don't know, pretty much life insurance people, agents, whatever you want to call them, they like to promise you this world, a wealthy financial future and all this and this and that. So pretty much on the surface levels of things, everything looked golden, everything looked, you know, like a promised land, a dreamland, neverland, whatever you want to call it. And he's just trying to sell you on this dream. Well, for this case, he's trying to sell me pretty much a lot of money, expensive cars, women, etc, etc, etc. So now let's talk about the job description within itself. Phase 3, becoming a life insurance salesman. So just like I mentioned before, I had to make an upfront payment of $60 before I'm even allowed to make one sale. Afterwards, I was promised a 4-week process of training and pretty much everything for me to learn the ropes and to get with the program. But what I didn't know until I did research, things started feeling scamish. So for instance, he mentioned that I could use my social media platforms in order as a tool to make money. So out of curiosity, I asked him, how is that even possible? He pretty much dodged that whole question and just continued with this rant of like selling me this dream of having wealthy cars and all this stuff. Right there, that was a red flag instantly, not even gonna lie. So then I just continued asking him basic questions about this job, and within the process, he started leaking out information he wasn't really supposed to leak out on pretty much how I would actually get paid. So yes, he promised me that I would get free leads once I start, and then as soon as I started feeling more comfortable, I could actually invest my money to buy more leads so I could close more sales, etc, etc, etc. So when I was just bored just researching about life insurance salesmen in specific, I came across this guy who was also promised free leads and stuff like that, just for him to find out these were 2-year-old leads. Here's the video so you guys can have like an understanding of what I'm saying.
So here's what it was like my first 30 days as a life insurance agent. I went through a lot of pain and a lot of trials, and I wish I knew this when I was a life insurance agent. So here's the first 30 days. Story time. When I got started as a life insurance agent, I was sold this massive dream. Just come on in, get your life insurance license, get this script, and you're going to call people and you're going to sell life insurance. And that was a dream that got me fired up. But quickly in my first 30 days, I realized it was way harder than I ever expected. I was calling leads that were old, 2-year-old leads, which I never thought were right. I was starting with a script that was getting me to ask people for their social security number. I was going to my mentor, asking them for help, but they would never be there. But they sold this dream. They told me, I'm gonna be there for you. I got your back. And for the first 3 days, I was completely lost. Fortunately, I didn't go full time. I didn't just quit everything. For my first 30 days, I was actually working in my sales position. And then after work, I was coming home and I was on the dialer. So I'd work a full, typical 8 to 6. And then from 6 to 8, I would actually pick up selling life insurance as an insurance agent. And finally, I made a few sales in my first 30 days because my first 14 days, I made 0 sales. But on day 15, I made my first sale after spending thousands of dollars on leads because that's what they told me to do. Keep buying leads, keep calling people, and eventually it did work, but I realized I wasn't making money, but it was a grind.
So yes, selling life insurance is possible. But the main topic of this video is about these agents who are trying to sell you this dream in order to become this wealthy salesman. So again, to revisit the phone call that we had earlier, I started connecting some dots and this is what I came to a conclusion. So on my social media platforms, just like Instagram, TikTok, whatever I use for real, I can portray this high value lifestyle like cars, money, trips, etc., etc. Just showing people that I got money and I am wealthy. So I could use that as a tool to then lure other people in. So then I can recruit these people. So then I can make percentages and dividends and pretty much upfront payments for them joining. So it's just like how do you want to say this? A pyramid scheme, okay? This is a legal pyramid scheme where if I recruit more people to come in, I would get paid on top of closing sales. He told me this in a very indirect way, but me being me, I'm like a CIA agent, connecting dots and stuff like that, okay? So again, earlier in that phone call, he did tell me that I would be receiving 85% commission of every sale I close, on top of getting money from recruiting other people. Again, he told me this very indirectly. Phase 4, after the phone call. At the end of the phone call, he picked up on my hesitation about joining his company because, earlier in the phone call, he tried to like close me like a sale, meaning that by the end of this day, just send me a screenshot of you purchasing the life insurance test and all this blah 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 stuff. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should do that. So then pretty much we came to this conclusion where like he told me, hey, how about tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. you come on by to our building so you could pick up the vibes, you can meet the team, and we could have a one-on-one talk afterwards. So me being me, I'm like, all right, sounds better. So we agreed on meeting up at his location at 9:30 a.m. instead of making an upfront payment without knowing anything. So after the phone call, pretty much I'm just going about my day like any other day. And right before I was actually about to fall asleep, this is when I had the realization like, hey, I'm about to go to this building and pretty much get into this life insurance salesman stuff. Why haven't I done any research yet? So just like the video I showed earlier, pretty much this is when I start doom scrolling and just searching all different types of stuff about life insurance and getting all these different types of perspectives. And due to my suspicion, things weren't as clear as day, and I started feeling like this is all a bit of a scam in some sort of way. It's like, yes, you can make money, but like everything else to it just didn't feel right. Phase 5, my conclusion. So after all the research I made, I pretty much came to a conclusion where this is something I do not want to pursue. Because again, becoming a life insurance salesman is a possible thing, but you have to consider the sacrifices, such as working long hours, damaging your relationships with either friends, families, or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever the case may be. On top of that, you're going to be working long hours, like 14, 15-hour days, just so you can get your business up and running. And then on top of that, you also have to consider the big financial impact that it's going to have on your bank account in the startup process of becoming a life insurance salesman. Should you become a life insurance salesman? Well, that's only if you're willing to sacrifice a bit of your personality, a bit of your moral code, and just pretty much spending your entire days convincing old people that it's best to buy life insurance just in case you die to protect the loved ones you have. And if all of this sounds like rainbows and butterflies to you, then I say go for it. Why not, right? So again, the whole process of salesmen, agents of life insurance, whatever you want to call them, for them inviting you into their company or into their lifestyle, sort of say, that's a whole big scam and scheme like type of thing, because they're just trying to sell you this high value lifestyle that you can soon portray after joining their team. So again, becoming this life insurance salesman type thing, it's just a big constant loophole of salesmen luring you in with this, rich lifestyle for them just to get percentages on your sign up fee. And then on top of that, to also get dividends on each and every sale that you close, for you to soon do the same thing to other random people that you soon try to also recruit, while also getting dividends on their half. So it's just a constant scam like cycle just for you to get some revenue. Yeah, weird, right? But again, as we're wrapping this video up, I just want to let you guys know to please be mindful if you're ever considering life insurance, or a family, loved one, friends, whatever. Please do your research and do not let a salesman close you in like a sale, because again, they just care about the money. They don't really care about you, honestly. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and put on notifications. Hey, we're trying to, I don't know, upload videos and have a family on YouTube. Yeah. Love you guys. All right, deuces.